What's up, guys? It's T1 here, and welcome back to another episode of playing World Zombination. This is now our third video in the Faction War series, and today, the Faction War, the city that we're going to go to is Shanghai. So a couple of things. First, I realized that when I was looking for some of these other cities for Faction Wars, I couldn't find them on the map, because typically you'll find them in places with these additional icons, such as this one for Hong Kong, which I can't participate because the maximum level is 34. There's also one in Paris, the one that we just showed, and then there is Chicago. But what's interesting is Shanghai didn't show up for me until it started, and it has a different icon. And now I know there's another one in Tokyo, which I also couldn't find. So I guess they're probably added a little later, and they will only show up when the time's right. So anyways, there's about an hour and 37 remaining of the faction war. Let's go in right now and do some fights, and let's take a look to see what our competition looks like. And well, there is quite a bit of trophies to overcome, so I don't think we're going to be able to get that in the next hour or so. But let's go in anyway and go for an attack. So it costs 21.85 cans to fight an expert. And I can't quite remember the layout. So what I'm going to do is do a quick autofill. Let's go ahead and pick our unit. And then let's just, I don't want to bring in a level 1 and a level 10 to an expert faction war. So I'll bring in my favorite units. And then we will sort of play around a little bit and then see. So ballista and my level 30 sawbones. All right, let's go in and take a look, and then we will adjust to see if we can bring in units of lower level and be successful still. Because it's it's no fun if I'm just bringing all level 50s all the time. And the good challenge is bringing lesser units and also potentially using just one unit. All right, so this is what I remember now. This is one of those faction wars where, depending on the layout, you'll have a really easy time. So look at this one. Both of the buildings are completely closed off, and there are barriers here. Right, so you basically have a very nice long choke point along this whole entire area, and you've got a couple of level 42 snipers that will help attack the units for you. So you should have a really easy time here. I don't really want to waste all of my units' stamina, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So I will put all of my melee units right here, and I will support them with my ballista. I'll put a hacker right here, and then I will go ahead and get started. And just so that I don't forget, I'll just go ahead and deploy my surgeon right now. So I use up all of my unit stamina at least once. So I got my snipers in the back. Well, I got my bushwick in the back, and so what he's going to do is he's going to be picking off the mutated zombies as well as the large guys, and so that makes it easier for me. And all I have to do now is, like, if you have this kind of setup, you don't need level 50s. I think all you need is just a bunch of snipers in the back, and you bring in a couple of tanks to absorb the damage. Let's go ahead and bring them in quicker so that we could save some time. Yeah, so as long as you just keep putting snipers in the back, I think you'll be just fine. And then I'm going to bring my atomizer to. I lost a person, so let's go ahead and revive. It's too late. I did not notice that somebody had died. So anyway, so I think based on that, I can just bring in a bunch of level 30s actually. So let's try that. Let's just replace the unit first. Let's go ahead and help our guildmate. I recently just changed guild to the Rebel Alliance just to play around, check out different guilds, help them out a little bit with the units I have. So say hello to everybody. In fact, I'll just say hi to YouTube, guildies. Guildmates. We'll come back to them. All right, so again, let's go now and replace all of our level 50s with a bunch of level 30s. And so knowing what we learned, I think what you want is now, because a fire chief at level 50 is really the one that gives you the taunt, you'll want to make sure that you bring another tank, and I might actually bring in a lower level tank for that. So now I have a couple of, so I have a lone wolf, and I'll bring in another sawbones, and I think what I'll do is I will bring in my level 30 fire chief and 2 sharpshooters. So I'm going to focus heavy on sharpshooter and have support with my tanks. So let's go ahead now try this out. So again, these are all level 30s, so it's a lot more manageable for most people in order to be competitive in in faction wars. Now, a lot of people are also, a big fan of just bringing one unit and then attacking. And so I will also be showing how you can do that for this particular faction war, and how you could in sort of placement. All right, so this is the level where normally I would bring in my level 50 fire chief, and I will have my sniper up here, because what you want is for all of the units to come to this point. And so what you'll see is the spawn points here and here are going to all converge into this central area, and they're going to completely ignore this building. So you leave the sniper up here to help take out a lot of the zombies, and in fact you could just do this. I'm going to bring all of my sniper up here, and I'm going to put my 2 tanks right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and put my hacker right here, and I'll have my sawbones on standby to revive my tanks. So now let's see how this goes. So again, these are just level 30 units. They're not level 50s, but you can see that I should be able to take this on without any problems. All right. And then of course, just heal as necessary. And because of the fire chief, you don't have to worry about the zombies going off into the distance. And I'm going to go ahead and just deploy this to utilize the entire team. And let's go ahead and keep adding more snipers and make sure that my fire chief stays alive. Let's go ahead and bring them in here. And there it should be. There you go. Just like that. Let me make sure that I go ahead and just like that. Not a problem. Oh, so I can deploy sharpshooters to get my bonus. Okay, I forgot about that. So that's layout number 2. Let's take another look and see how we can do. And then I think what I will do is I will leave with one map where I try and do solo. So let's go ahead and do another one with just level 30s now. Now, if you don't have hacker, bring in a gunsmith. And if you don't have a lone wolf, bring in a dead shot. And the sharpshooter is just a rare unit, so it should be pretty easy to obtain for everyone. All right, so this one, if you had a level 50, if I had a level 50 fire chief, I would be deploying them here and here, and then just kind of let my my sniper do the support. But instead, what I'll do is I will just go ahead and deploy my 2 tanks right here, and then just go ahead and do this right here to have them support, and one more right here, and then I will bring a hacker here, bring my, there you go. So this should be another easy map. Right, so it's all about finding the choke point and making sure that you are protecting your units well enough with the right combination of tanks and gun units. All right, and so I think what I'll do is just put another tank right up top. And I might even just bring in a hacker just to clean up the drones. Okay, and let's see how we're doing at the bottom here. So I think having a hacker really helps out just because they can take out a lot of the smaller units. They can swarm your tanks and cause some problems sometimes. So having gun units really helps out with that regard. All right, so that's pretty much the levels. Let's go ahead and do one more, and this time I will switch out my level 31 hacker, or I'll switch out my level 31 hacker, and I'll just bring in my level 30 fire chief. I mean level 50 fire chief and my level 50 hacker, and I'm also going to bring in my sensei because I think the sensei is also good enough um, to solo sometimes. So let's see now. Let's see what layout this is. Okay, so this one is another different one. Okay. Yep. So this one is, again, same thing. This building will never get hit unless this one gets taken up first and you have no units to protect. So very simple. All I have to do is just keep deploying one unit. I'm going to go ahead and deploy my sensei. So let's see how this works out. There might be a unit or two that die, but the thing with the sensei at level 50, so the perks for the sensei is increased attack speed and increased dodge, as well as area of attack. So what you do is you know, this is where you do want to support your sensei as much as possible, using heals as much as possible, just because sensei have less health than fire chief and also timber beast. So you want to cluster them together, you want to heal them as much as possible, and then you want to avoid situations where they're left by themselves. And so you do not want them to be surrounded all the time, and you want to make sure that they are getting the support they need. Since this is full, I'm going to go ahead and deploy one right here because the sensei does travel pretty far. I'm just going to move him out here. Oh, I didn't even need to do it. So 3 sensei at level 50 was able to solo the Shanghai Faction Wars map pretty easily. So if you can borrow one from your guildmate, or if you have one, definitely bring one in and use one. I think it's just a lot of fun to try something different other than the normal Fire Chief, Fire Marshal, or the Forester, etc. You know, something different makes it a lot more fun. Anyway, so that's pretty much, I think we did four different layouts. It's not hard. Shanghai is relatively easy, and of course, if you wanted to get this quickly, just go ahead and use Quick Fight. Right, use the Quick Fight option to get your trophies. And it looks like right now we're going to be closing in. We're at 236. If I push it up to above 200, I do get 15 coins. So I might, get an attack here or there. But that's pretty much it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're doing well, and I will see you for the next faction war. Take care.